but the soul yearns. It has the heart of your soul, it just gravitates towards seeking truth. And no matter how burned out you are, how exhausting it is, I feel like that really steep ladder is still going to be present. It's still going to be there, and you're still going to have to climb it. And it is exhausting. And, you know, these strange news stories that showed up the last couple of days, actually, there was three of really massive bus crashes. And crashes are common, but crashes with this many victims is not very common. And these massive bus crashes are like force fed in my feed. And it almost, just like the 666s and 911s, it almost feels like some kind of taunting or mockery. I like to use those words, taunting and mockery. A mischievousness to this AI type computer stuff where it's really in your face. And speaking of the 911s and 666s, I've been seeing a lot less 911s, but I've been seeing more 666s. And here it is, 2025. And we are still going. But yeah, I just thought that those news stories were very strange. And then check out Minutes of Horror. There's a lot of strange stuff going on with the airplanes. A lot of news related to airplanes lately. And this is all anomalous stuff stemming from whatever took place here. As I said many times before, there's a natural free-flowing energy, oscillating frequencies, quantum oscillating harmonics that flow freely through the cosmos. It's part of, a collective chain, a collective mind. And this information, it contains within it information that is beyond ancient. And it's constantly restructured, renewed, and rebirthed. Collapses into singularities, gets sucked into black holes, and that information gets filtered out. Those harmonics, those frequencies that are really the lifeblood of creation, they are the life force of creation and consciousness. They're constantly progressing and getting filtered through in innumerable ways forever and ever, right? And this is part of our, I don't know, I don't want to use the word right, but sort of part of our right to be tuned in and to be harmonized with those cosmic frequencies, because they are very pivotal in receiving specific types of information in order to progress specific types of evolution, spiritual, mental evolution. Now, we've been speculating forever with no end in sight as to what happened with the Mandela world. And to me, subjectively, doesn't mean that everyone is experiencing this, obviously. Everyone has a little bit of a different experience. But to me, it feels like those natural harmonies, those natural oscillating frequencies have been shielded and cut off from us. But not only have we been like put into some kind of bubble and cut off from them, where we've each individually also been cut off from those harmonies. So, like, literally, like individual guinea pigs. And it really feels like Dark City. And there's actually a really strange TikTok I saw the other day that implies exactly a situation like Dark City. Now, obviously, you got to take anything on TikTok with a grain of salt, but this lady was talking to some strange man on the bus, because now buses are forced to me all the time. And he was talking about how there was, and long story short, this guy ends up like disappearing or something anomalous happens. But he was telling her that there were some entities called the Veil Keepers, where they freeze and reverse time and are behind the veil. And to me, that's something important, because whatever happened here and whatever is happening here, it feels like there's stuff like that going on. The Truman Show effect, where they probably are freezing time and we would never even know it or notice it, and reversing things. And this play, this unnatural play with the natural rhythm, is causing all of these anomalies, with the planes and all these strange sounds and all this bizarre stuff happening since we were inserted into the Mandela world. And it's a contrived, forced evolution. It's forced, and it makes me question any relevance to the Prime Directive, supposedly, which I've always had trouble with. People like Bashar say that they, quote unquote, aliens do not intervene with our evolution because we must progress ourselves, blah, blah, blah. But it seems very cold and laboratory like to me to say, like, let's see, you're an alien, you're looking at a planet that's violent and psychotic, and people are hurting each other, and your Prime Directive says, do not just sit there and watch. Now, you ask yourself, where is the heart in that? Where is the heart in that if that's supposedly the case? That's very cold if you think about it. But the thing is, it's possible that if there were to be direct intervention, maybe it would make it even worse. And that's probably what's happening here, because I do believe there is a very direct and forced, cold type of mathematical forced evolution upon the human race that is computerized, basically, and standardized for each individual person on a person-per-person basis. But I don't know. We're still just speculating, right? All these years later, it's still just endless upon endless speculation. But that's just how I feel. I feel like we're being shielded and cut off from natural cosmic harmonies. Cut off. But it doesn't mean that your soul can't access. It still does, and it still yearns to connect. It's part of the very nature of your consciousness to want to not be imprisoned, to want to be freed and be free to roam that vast void of forever. See 3 people here, but nobody's saying anything. You guys usually do. But yeah, let's see what happens with the story of Marvelous Baron Trump and the Truman Show world. That's another anomaly of its own. So we'll see.